Ladies, I need you to stop what you're doing right now and listen to me. What I'm about to share with you could change the trajectory of your entire life. I've spent decades studying human behavior, relationships, and the patterns that either elevate us or destroy us from the inside out. And what I've discovered is that there are 5 specific requests that toxic people make that should send you running in the opposite direction faster than you've ever run before. But here's the thing that most people don't understand. These requests don't come with warning labels. They don't arrive with sirens blaring or red flags waving. They come disguised as love, as care, as concern for your well-being. They slip into your life so smoothly, so naturally, that by the time you realize what's happening, you're already trapped in a web of manipulation that's been carefully constructed around you. I want you to understand something fundamental about your worth as a human being. You are not a project to be fixed. You are not a trophy to be won. You are not a resource to be depleted. You are a complete, whole, magnificent individual who deserves relationships that add to your life, not subtract from it. At the moment someone enters your world asking for these 5 things I'm about to reveal, they're telling you exactly who they are and what they intend to do with your energy, your time, and your spirit. The first thing you need to run from is anyone who asks you to change your core identity to make them comfortable. Listen carefully to what I'm saying here, because this isn't about growth or improvement. This is about erasure. When someone truly loves you, they celebrate the essence of who you are. They might challenge you to grow. They might inspire you to reach new heights, but they never ask you to become someone else entirely. I've seen brilliant women dim their light because someone convinced them they were too bright. I've watched powerful women make themselves smaller because someone told them their strength was intimidating. I've observed creative souls abandon their passions because someone made them believe their dreams were unrealistic or selfish. This is not love. This is control wearing a mask of concern. When someone asks you to change your personality, your interests, your way of speaking, your style of dressing, or your fundamental beliefs to make them feel more secure, they're revealing their own deep insecurity and their willingness to sacrifice your authenticity for their comfort. They're showing you that they fell in love with an idea of who they think you could be, not with who you actually are. Your personality is not a rough draft waiting for someone else's editing. Your interests are not negotiable based on someone else's approval. Your way of expressing yourself in this world is not subject to another person's comfort level. The right person will love you because of who you are, not in spite of it. They will encourage your growth while celebrating your essence. Think about this for a moment. If someone needs you to be fundamentally different in order to love you, then they don't actually love you at all. They love their projection, their fantasy, their ideal version of what they think you should be. And you will spend your entire relationship trying to live up to an impossible standard that changes every time you get close to meeting it. The second toxic request that should have you running for the hills is when someone asks you to cut ties with people who genuinely care about you. This is one of the most dangerous red flags in existence, and it's often the first step in a carefully orchestrated plan to isolate you from your support system. Healthy relationships don't require you to abandon other healthy relationships. When you're with the right person, they understand that your connections with family and friends are part of what makes you whole. They want to integrate into your world, not replace it entirely. They understand that love multiplies when it's shared. It doesn't diminish. But toxic individuals see your other relationships as competitions, as threats to their control over you. They'll start, subtly at first, planting seeds of doubt about the people who love you. They'll point out flaws in your friends that you never noticed before. They'll create drama between you and your family members. They'll manufacture conflicts and then position themselves as the only person who truly understands you. They might say things like, "I just don't think they have your best interests at heart." Or, "Have you noticed how they always seem jealous of your happiness?" They'll make you question relationships you've cherished for years, making you doubt your own judgment about people who have proven their loyalty time and time again. Now, here's what they're really doing. They're systematically dismantling your support network so that you become completely dependent on them for emotional support, validation, and guidance. They want to be your only source of everything, which gives them unprecedented power over your emotional state and your decision-making process. I want you to understand that isolation is a weapon. It's a strategic tool used by people who know they couldn't maintain control over you if you had access to outside perspectives. When you're surrounded by people who love you unconditionally, it becomes much harder for someone to convince you that abuse is love, that control is care, that manipulation is protection. Your friends and family members who knew you before this person entered your life can see changes in you that you might not be able to see yourself. They can offer perspective when you're too close to a situation to view it clearly. They can remind you of your strength when someone is trying to convince you that you're weak. They can reflect back to you the person you truly are when someone is trying to rewrite your entire identity. Anyone who asks you to choose between them and the people who have consistently shown up for you is asking you to choose isolation. They're asking you to voluntarily enter a prison of their construction. And once you're isolated, once you've burned bridges with people who genuinely care about you, it becomes exponentially more difficult to escape when you finally realize you need to. The third request that should send you running is when someone asks you to suppress your dreams, ambitions, and goals, to support theirs exclusively. This is about more than just compromise. This is about complete subjugation of your aspirations to serve someone else's vision for their life. In healthy relationships, both people's dreams matter. There's mutual support, encouragement, and a genuine investment in each other's success and fulfillment. Partners celebrate each other's achievements and work together to help each other reach their goals. They understand that individual growth strengthens the relationship, not weakens it. But toxic individuals see your dreams as obstacles to their own success or as threats to their dominance in the relationship. They will systematically work to undermine your confidence in your abilities, your worthiness of success, and your right to pursue happiness on your own terms. They might start by questioning the practicality of your goals. They'll plant seeds of doubt about your capabilities, making you second-guess talents and skills you've spent years developing. They'll minimize your achievements, downplay your successes, and magnify your failures until you begin to believe that you're not capable of achieving anything significant on your own. They might say things like, "Don't you think you should focus on being more supportive of what I'm trying to accomplish?" Or, "Wouldn't it be better if you put your energy into our relationship instead of chasing these impossible dreams?" They'll frame their request as being about practicality, about being realistic, about putting the relationship first. But here's what's really happening. They're threatened by your potential. They understand that if you achieve your goals, if you build your own success, if you develop your own sense of accomplishment and self-worth, you won't need them in the desperate way they need you to need them. Your independence terrifies them because it threatens their control. Your dreams are not selfish. Your ambitions are not burdens on other people. Your desire to grow, to achieve, to create something meaningful in this world, it's not something you need to apologize for or sacrifice for anyone. The right person will be your biggest cheerleader, not your biggest obstacle. When someone truly loves you, they want to see you shine. They want to witness you becoming everything you're capable of becoming. They understand that your success doesn't diminish them, it inspires them. Your growth doesn't threaten them, it challenges them to grow as well. I've watched too many women abandon their dreams to support men who never had any intention of reciprocating that support. I've seen brilliant minds convinced to settle for mediocrity because someone else's ego couldn't handle their potential for greatness. I've witnessed creative spirits convinced to abandon their art to become full-time supporters of someone else's vision. And here's the tragic part. After years of sacrificing their own dreams, these women often find themselves discarded once they're no longer useful, or once their partner has achieved what they wanted to achieve. They discover that their sacrifice wasn't seen as love. It was seen as weakness, as evidence that they didn't have anything valuable to offer on their own. Your dreams matter. Your goals are valid. Your desire to create something meaningful with your life is not negotiable. Anyone who asks you to abandon your aspirations to serve theirs exclusively is asking you to commit spiritual suicide. They're asking you to kill the parts of yourself that make you unique, valuable, and whole. The fourth toxic request that should have you running immediately is when someone asks you to accept disrespect as proof of their authenticity or honesty. This is perhaps one of the most insidious forms of manipulation because it reframes abuse as a virtue, cruelty as honesty, and disrespect as authenticity. They'll say things like, "I'm just being honest," or "I'm not like other people who lie to make you feel better," or "This is just who I am, take it or leave it." They'll position their inability to communicate with kindness and respect as a character strength, as evidence that they're more genuine than people who choose to speak with consideration and care. But here's what I need you to understand. Cruelty is not honesty. Disrespect is not authenticity. Being deliberately hurtful is not the same as being genuine. There's always a way to communicate truth with kindness, to express disagreement with respect, to share concerns without attacking someone's character or worth. When someone consistently speaks to you in ways that leave you feeling smaller, less confident, or questioning your own value, they are not being honest, they are being abusive. When someone regularly criticizes your appearance, your intelligence, your decisions, or your character under the guise of just being real with you, they are not helping you grow, they are systematically tearing you down. And healthy communication involves respect, consideration, and care for the other person's emotional well-being. It's possible to disagree without being disagreeable. It's possible to express frustration without being destructive. It's possible to share difficult truths without being cruel. The people who truly love you will find ways to communicate their concerns that build you up rather than tear you down. They will speak truth wrapped in love, not truth wielded as a weapon. They will be honest about issues that need to be addressed while still affirming your worth and their commitment to working through challenges together. But toxic individuals use the concept of honesty as a shield to protect them from accountability for their cruel behavior. They want you to accept their disrespect as evidence of their authenticity, when in reality, it's evidence of their inability or unwillingness to treat you with basic human dignity. Anyone can be cruel and call it honesty. Anyone can be disrespectful and claim it's authenticity, but it takes emotional maturity, genuine care, and real strength to communicate difficult truths with kindness and respect. The people worth having in your life will make that effort because they value you enough to consider your feelings when they speak to you. I want you to set a standard right now. You will not accept disrespect disguised as honesty. You will not tolerate cruelty masquerading as authenticity. You deserve to be spoken to with kindness, consideration, and respect, especially from people who claim to love you. The fifth and perhaps most dangerous request is when someone asks you to doubt your own perceptions, memories, and instincts. This is the foundation of psychological manipulation, and it's designed to make you completely dependent on someone else's version of reality. This might start small. They'll contradict your memory of conversations you had, events that happened, or agreements you made. They'll insist that things happen differently than you remember, that you're being too sensitive, that you're imagining problems that don't exist. They'll make you question your own judgment about situations, people, and experiences. They might say things like, "That's not what happened," or "You're being paranoid," or You always blow things out of proportion. They'll respond to your legitimate concerns with dismissal, making you feel like you're crazy for having normal emotional reactions to problematic behavior. Over time, this systematic undermining of your perception erodes your confidence in your own judgment. You start second-guessing yourself constantly. You begin to rely on their interpretation of events because you no longer trust your own memory or instincts. You start believing that you're overly sensitive, dramatic, or unable to see situations clearly. This is incredibly dangerous because your instincts are your internal warning system. Your perception is your tool for navigating the world safely. Your memory is your way of learning from experience and recognizing patterns. When someone convinces you to doubt these fundamental tools, they're essentially disarming your ability to protect yourself. Your instincts have been developed through years of experience, observation, and learning. They're designed to help you identify danger, recognize deception, and make decisions that serve your best interests. When something feels wrong, there's usually a very good reason for that feeling, even if you can't immediately articulate what that reason is. The people who want to manipulate you need you to ignore your instincts because your instincts are probably telling you that something about them or their behavior is not right. They need you to discount your perceptions because your perceptions are picking up on inconsistencies in their words and actions. They need you to question your memory because your memory contains evidence of their lies, their broken promises, and their pattern of problematic behavior. I want you to understand that your perception is valid. Your memory is reliable. Your instincts are trustworthy. You are not too sensitive. You are appropriately responsive to concerning behavior. You are not imagining problems. You are recognizing real issues that need to be addressed. When someone consistently makes you question your own sanity, your own judgment, your own experience of reality, they are engaging in one of the most harmful forms of psychological abuse. They are systematically destroying your confidence in your own mind, your own wisdom, your own ability to navigate the world independently. The right people in your life will validate your perceptions when they're accurate and gently help you see different perspectives when they might be helpful. They won't make you feel crazy for having normal emotional responses to problematic situations. They won't gaslight you into doubting experiences you clearly remember. They won't dismiss your concerns or make you feel like you're overreacting to legitimate problems. Trust yourself. Trust your instincts. Trust your perceptions. Trust your memory. You are not crazy. You are not overly sensitive. You are not imagining things. Your internal guidance system is working exactly as it should, and anyone who tries to convince you otherwise is someone who benefits from your confusion and self-doubt. Now that I've shared these 5 toxic requirements on you, I need you to understand something crucial. Recognizing these patterns is just the beginning. Knowledge without action is just information, and information without implementation won't change your life. You have to be willing to use this awareness to make different choices moving forward. This means you have to be willing to walk away from people who make these requests, even when it's difficult, even when it's painful, even when they try to convince you that you're making a mistake. It means you have to be willing to prioritize your well-being over other people's comfort. It means you have to be willing to disappoint people who are disappointed by your refusal to be controlled. And here's what I know to be true. When you start setting boundaries, when you start refusing these toxic requests, when you start choosing yourself over relationships that diminish you, some people are going to be very upset with you. They're going to try to make you feel guilty, selfish, ungrateful, or wrong for protecting yourself. They might accuse you of being difficult, demanding, or impossible to please. They might tell you that you'll never find anyone who will put up with your standards. They might try to convince you that you're throwing away good relationships over minor issues. They might even recruit other people to pressure you into going back to accepting treatment that you know is wrong. But I need you to understand that their reaction to your boundaries tells you everything you need to know about whether those boundaries were necessary. People who genuinely care about you will respect your right to protect yourself, even if they don't fully understand your decisions. People who have your best interests at heart will support your efforts to create a healthier life, even if it's inconvenient for them. The people who get angry when you start protecting yourself are usually the people you most needed protection from. The relationships that can't survive your boundaries are relationships that were built on the foundation of your willingness to accept less than you deserve.